Hey gang, welcome to Film Highlights. This is Anthony Orlando. Joining me today is actor and screenwriter Jeff Barker. Jeff, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. All right, now to get started, like the thing has been on a lot of people's minds lately is the horror film Obsession. Your son, Curry Barker, was the writer and director of it, and a lot of people can't get enough of it. I mean, personally, I've seen it like three times in the theater already. I mean, it's that good. And
Great.
the Thanks. And now the film was very much a family project. Not only did Curry like write and direct it, I mean, also your other son Riley served as a second assistant camera, and you've also like cameoed a bit, like it helped out on the script. So, let's get started. Like, I just love like to learn, hear more about what it was like working with your family on a project like this.
I mean, it was a dream come true because, we've always been a huge film family. And, this was sort of like, people say, I get asked a lot, like, did you ever imagine something like this could happen? And the answer is, yeah, I did. I mean, Curry's just a very special individual. And, when he decides he wants to do something, he gets obsessed about it and makes it happen. And he's been obsessed about being an actor, being a director since he was 7 years old. There's never been a plan B. It's always what he was going to do. But it was special also because Curry's the type of person that, is very collaborative. He's open to ideas. He's also very consistent with his vision and he respects his vision, but he's always open to hear what other people think. And he brings people up with him. And so, he brought me along as a script a consultant and he asked me to do the voiceover of the trivia host DJ. And then when I was on set, they threw me back there on the drums, which was pretty cool. And of all the things, that little 2 seconds on screen is what people will message me and be like, "Oh, I saw you in the movies." So that's a lot of fun. His mom designed the One Wish Willow, which is pretty amazing, And his older brother Jeffrey was a key PA, so like the guy that like does everything on set. And of course Riley is a young, brilliant cinematographer. So they've been working together for a long time. Riley shoots and edits all their That's About Idea stuff. So yeah, it was really awesome. It was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell like everyone just like had a blast just making this film. And now I really love like to hear more about your experience as a screenwriter. I mean, from what I've heard, you've had like a lot of experience over the years. I mean, you've been ranked highly on the Red List, the Austin Film Festival, and even Coverfly. I mean, that's just to name a few. I I love to learn more about your writing process and how you approach telling stories.
Yeah, well, I've been writing for 25 years, mostly writing prose fiction, like short stories and novel manuscripts. And then, I always would love to have written screenplays, but when I was coming up, you had to live in LA to do that. It's changed now. You can live pretty much anywhere and do it, to write features anyway. And but Curry came to me when he first started working on Obsession a little over 3 years ago, and he asked for some opinions about things, some help with things, and so I dove headfirst into screenwriting and fell in love with it, got obsessed about it as I do with things, as Curry does, like I just said, and started reading as many screenplays as I could, just like really absorbing it. So much so that I started a podcast and breaking down screenplays and that really elevated my writing as a screenwriter because reading screenplays is very important, but breaking down screenplays is like the next level where you're really putting in the hours, looking at it critically, not as a critic, but like looking at the writing critically, trying to figure out what were they doing here, why did they make this choice, was it on purpose, how did it serve the story, and even if you don't use those tools for your own writing, you at least are seeing them and acknowledging them and seeing the many different ways things could be done. And every time I broke a screenplay down, I felt like my writing just elevated and elevated. So in the beginning, when no one was watching my videos, that's what kept me going was like, okay, I'm not really doing it for, if somebody sees it and they like it and it's helpful, great. If not, I don't care because it's helping me a lot. And yeah, living out here in Alabama, there wasn't really much I could do except for put my screenplays up on the blacklist, put them in screenplay competitions. And I had a lot of success with that, and it opened up some doors, and it's been amazing. And then Obsession is just opening up more and more doors because Curry's been very generous about talking on his press tour about my involvement. So producers and executives are finding me for the first time, and I'm talking to people with meetings and such. So it's been great.
It's terrific to hear. And on the subject of your podcast, I mean, I'd love to give you an opportunity to talk more about it, like, and just like to tell people like why should they go out and subscribe to it. I mean, I'd love like to give you like that sort of platform.
Sure. I don't really have to pitch it. I mean, it's like if it's there for you, if you're interested, some people like it, some people probably think it's stupid, but I never am critical of a screenplay, because for a screenplay to exist in the world and be a produced movie, it's like a miracle, so there's quality in all of the screenplays. And I dig in to see what's unique and interesting and about it. And in the beginning, I would have these hour to hour and a half long videos where I would really break it down, like I mean, really, really break it down. And now I'm doing 45 minutes or so, and I'll break down the first 10 pages, maybe the last 10 pages, and maybe a key scene in there that people resonate with. Like the most recent one I did was the drama, the A24 movie,
Right.
which was great, and it's Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, um, and so I did the first 10 pages, I think, and I did the last like 5 pages, and then I also broke down the scene, which is like unbelievably a 30 something page scene, which is the around the table while they're talking about the worst thing they ever did. Um, yeah, so and it's been great in the last 2 weeks because so many people have discovered it through Obsession and saying, "Wow, this is great," and they're going back and looking at older videos now, and so yeah, it's been a lot of fun. The next one I'm going to do is Obsession, which I had planned on doing that later, closer to award season, hoping to be a tiny little voice to try to make it relevant. Like, hey, don't forget about Obsession because it is
Yeah.
a really good screenplay. But it's leaked out and it's in the world now, so I feel like I have to do it now. So I'll be jumping on that pretty soon, probably in the next week or so.
Awesome, man. Well, I look forward to seeing it. And yeah, I've actually started reading like the leaked early draft of the Obsession screenplay online. I just like I really got into it, and from what I've read, that the ending of Obsession, the one that we saw in theaters, that was sort of your idea because like originally it was supposed to end with Nikki shooting herself after Bear overdosed, and but I mean, you filmed like a bunch of different variations, but like in the end, you thought like her surviving like was more disturbing. I was wondering if you like break down the reasoning behind all that.
Sure, sure. Now, yeah, I wouldn't say it was my idea. It's something that Curry and I talked a lot about. And in the beginning, in the original script, and then other drafts leading up to it, he really did want it to end that way, where it was. People are calling it like the Romeo and Juliet ending, but it's really not because it's not beautiful and poetic. It's
Right.
terrible and like brutal, and that's what Curry wanted. Curry's a filmmaker who pulls no punches. Like he wants to be brutal, make people feel things, make people hold up a mirror to themselves and see things about themselves that they may not want to see. And for him in the beginning, that was the most brutal ending. I saw another pathway that I thought was more brutal, and we talked about that a lot. And in the beginning, I think he was a little hesitant because he had this so firmly in his mind, he could see it so much. And I wasn't the only one. I think other people were talking to him about it too. Maybe let's find a different way. But to his credit, they went ahead, they set up, they shot the original ending, and the special effects were amazing. Everybody was going crazy because how awesome it was, because it was very realistic, like how it would actually look if someone did that, not like a Hollywood splatter, suicide attempt. So that made it even more difficult because everybody then was like, "Yeah, this is awesome. This guy is so awesome." But to Curry's credit, he was like, okay, we got that. Now let's just do one where she doesn't. end herself. And also credit to Indy because she had fully embodied this character in ways that no one could have imagined. She was Nikki, and so when it was her time to do this one take of what it would be like, she absolutely nails it because she's being authentic and true to what Nikki would really do. Nikki, who's been tormented and brutalized over a period of a week or two, and has had moments of coming back into her body and seeing what's happening, actually aware the whole time through this sort of veil of what's going on, and to come to and see, uh, you know, three people dead and a billion, there's $1 billion in a house down the road. Like her
Yeah.
life was ruined in many ways, but at least she's not dead, and she would have the courage to go on and try to face this. She wouldn't like end herself. And so Nikki knew that, and she nailed it. And as soon as that take was done, I believe Curry at that moment was like, "Yeah, that's the one." And so again, like I spoke about earlier, Curry is willing to collaborate, listen. He's not some hotshot, hard-headed young director, and it definitely served the film and served the story because the ending is one of the best endings in modern cinema. I mean, you could just toss that aside because I'm his dad, but it really is like people. I've been to many, many screenings of it, and when the credits roll, people just sit there because they're just like blown away and like trying to process it. And that doesn't happen every day. The endings of movies, sometimes people are ready to go home, they beat the traffic or whatever. Maybe they'll watch a few of the credits, but I mean, when the lights come up, there's still people sitting there and just stunned. So I definitely think it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, like that ending, like stuck with me for a while. I mean, hearing Indy cry, like after seeing all that, like I really felt like the tragedy of her character right there. I mean, like I just like, like I was sat there like the first time I was in theater, just like waiting to see like what would happen. I mean, I was just like hoping for something like better like to come around. Like I just like I mean, we all like wanted like a Nikki to be happy in the end, but it's like I think that really just like sold like the terror of what happened. Like this like one selfish wish just like ruined so many people's lives, and I think that really just like solidified like the message of the story. Like, and I think that's and I think
Yeah.
this all turned out really well in the end. I mean, like, and I'm so happy to see like it impacted so many people. Like, and that Curry like had this strong rapport with Indy and everyone else on the set of the film.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, like I was a lot of people like have been talking about Indy's performance in the film. I mean, like a lot of people, like including myself, like I think she should actually like get an Oscar for her performance. I mean, like it's that good. So I was like wondering if you could tell us more your thoughts about what was like watching her perform on the set of that film. I mean, like was there like a time where you were like genuinely terrified by what she was putting out there?
Yeah, well, not in the moment, just because there's 40 people standing around, and you have an idea of what it's going to look like as a final product. But her performance, I was blown away all the time. I mean, she's the type of actor, she in rehearsals and in other times she holds back. She doesn't want to waste it, and I think in the beginning that is hard for a young director, but Curry trusted it and it paid off. I mean, she would deliver again and again. And then the casting process. I mean, to find Nikki, it was a long, extensive process. With Skylar Zern, the casting director, and Curry, and where there was so many female actors who could do one of the two things. They could either be really good from a human standpoint, or they could be really good as Freaky Nikki, but it was hard to find someone who could do both and then switch on a dime. And when Indy came around, it was pretty obvious. And also credit to Michael Johnson who plays Bear. He's such a it's so easy to hate his character because he's a really crappy person. And even in the end, he was a coward. Even after he took the pills, he was trying to spin them up when Nikki broke the One Wish Willow. And I think though with some time, people and some perspective, people will be able to look back and distinguish between the character of Bear and Michael Johnston and see that this was an amazing performance. Because that's not Michael is like a fun, happy-go-lucky, like super nice guy. Like that's not him. He was acting, and he like make that character so hateable and believable. As he from the beginning, as it just slowly your opinion of him changes, as you start to see who he really is. So I really believe that this is one of these movies that will stick around for many years. And when the new generation of people come up, when all the Gen Z people are, in their 30s, and there's a new generation of people discovering this movie, and they're saying, "Hey, you gotta watch, you haven't watched Obsession? What's wrong with you?" And they're like, "Oh, it's on my list." When they do watch it, I think their first reaction is going to be, I can't believe that these four actors were in this movie together at the same time. Because I think they're all going to be huge A-list stars, all four of them. Megan Lawless and Cooper Tomlinson and Indy Navarrete and Michael Johnston. Like they're going to launch, and then when they get projects from this, they're going to deliver on those too, and it's just going to continue. Their careers are going to continue to launch. And we'll look back one day and be amazed that all of these actors were in the movie together and it was done for under $1 million. How is that possible?
Yeah, I know. I mean, like overall, this whole story behind this is really inspiring, and like, I mean, I love like the performances like of all four cast members, especially Indy, and in the end, like the turnout for this movie has been it's extraordinary. I mean, like in 2 weeks, it like made like over $80 million at the box office, like, and now it's supposed like to reach like 100 million soon, and I
Past
mean,
100.
yeah, and I heard like it beat the new Star Wars movie in theaters. I mean, like this is like an original IP going against like one of the biggest franchises of all time. I mean, like it's incredible. I mean, did you ever expect like people like to love the film so much and like for it to succeed as much as it did?
I wish I could say yes, but it's just you can't even fantasize about something like this. I mean, if it's just like this is like it's a cultural phenomenon. It just doesn't happen very often. So no, we never imagined something like this. I mean, in the beginning, when the project was green lighted and was being developed, Curry and I would talk a lot, and my fantasy was just like, I hope that this is can get bought out by someone and could end up on a streaming service, and hopefully it's the type of streaming service that puts a movie in the theaters for 7 theaters for 5 showings just to say that it was a theatrical release. And I told him, I said, I'll go wherever it is. If it's showing, one Saturday in Philadelphia, I'm going to fly out there and go see it because I want to see this in a dark room with people. And then now to know that it's in every small town in America, it's in every country in the world that's showing U.S. movies and multiple showings a day, it just blows me away.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like personally, like if I like I had like I wish I would have gone like to see it sooner, like when it came out in the festivals, like but like all in all, it was great like to hear like people's reactions, like and just like to see all of them just like so deeply impacted by the story and like you said before, I mean, like it's just like ultimately like it connects with a lot of people because like it's a really grounded and real story. Like about, I mean, like we've seen like a women like go through like these toxic relationships with these men like who present themselves as like these nice guys, and I really appreciate like how like it explore like both of these characters, Bear and Nikki, like from like a realistic lens. Like I mean, like, it shows like the darkness like around the whole issue, but it shows like a lot of humanity behind it all. And I think that's really what makes this story really stand out amongst like all the others.
Yeah. Yeah, it really it resonates, especially with Gen Z, a group of people who came up during a time of really group trauma, with COVID and high school and college being disrupted. Also growing up with, the expectations that come along with having a social identity online, having to be one person in this conversation and another person in this conversation, and maintaining these different personas I mean, someone who's my age, I can see it and respect it, but I didn't experience it. And so the people who are really saving the movie industry right now or going to the movies are mostly Gen Z, not only Gen Z, but mostly. And so this movie really resonates with them that they can see like this cultural fear of being embarrassed, of being afraid of being humiliated or called out for something. This is why probably what drives Bear to be afraid to say how he feels. Doesn't give him an excuse, but everybody in the beginning at least can relate to that. And then, as you mentioned, just the from a female perspective, having autonomy stolen from you, and there's the scene where they're having sex, and people say, it's like he's well, I don't even want to say the word, but that he's
Yeah.
doing that to her. He clearly is, but he's been doing it to her the whole time. The whole thing is that he's controlling her. He's getting what he wants at her expense. And that's what the One Wish Willow does. It's not an evil device. It just grants you your wish. And so, like Nikki said, you wished for this.
Yeah, I mean, and going back to what you said, like about like Gen Z. I mean, like I'm like a member of Gen Z, like, and like I've experienced like that feeling like of loneliness during the pandemic while I was studying film in college, and like, and that's how I was like really able to connect like with Bear's internal struggles. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I mean, like he was what he did was wrong, but like it came from like a human place, and I think that's really like elevates like the terror behind it all. I mean, like we're all looking for companionship, but like we just like go about it like in the wrong ways. I mean, so
Yeah.
hopefully like this will really be like a cautionary a tale for our generation.
Yeah, it's just a difficult time, especially dating for young people because they've been so conditioned to swipe left, swipe right, get into DMs and all that. And
Oh
so
yeah.
wild, it's hard to even like meet someone or approach someone because of this fear of being made fun of or humiliated. I've seen cases where young people will, be forced into a conversation with each other, have a vibe, but instead of trying to take it to the next level and get to know each other right there in the moment, like at a party or whatnot, they will just exchange information and do it online. For the woman, she feels like it's a safer way to do it, and both of them they feel like from a performative standpoint, they can better control how their image is perceived if they can take time to type something out rather than letting something slip out in conversation. But it creates this environment of being inauthentic. So yeah, we could talk for days and days about Gen Z and the pressures that they face. And now we're seeing Gen Z filmmakers come to the forefront, and I'm just super excited for the art that they're going to produce and how they're going to help us all see things from a different perspective.
Yeah, I mean, like it certainly inspired me, but that's for another time. So, and following Obsession, I mean, you worked with Curry on his next feature film, Anything But Ghosts, and you just shot it in Vancouver. So, like, if you're able, I'd love like to hear like what it was like filming that with him.
Oh, it was a dream come true. I mean, for me, it was my pinnacle moment of watching Curry in action because this was a step up, larger crew, more risk, more money involved, A-list actors, and not only that, he's also starring in the movie. So it was
Yeah.
to watch him captain this ship and answer 1,000 questions a day from the departments and do it with kindness and humility and interest, and then also be focused enough to be the director and all the things that come with, directing each scene. And then on top of that, being able to slide in front of the camera and embody a character and do it in a grounded, authentic way. Uh, it was pretty wild to see. I mean, he really pulled it off. And the movie is just going to be so scary and so funny. And I can't wait for people to see it.
Yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to it myself. I mean, and I look forward like to hearing your thoughts about it like as well. I mean, like if you're gonna
Yeah.
do something on your podcast, I mean, like I'm all for it.
Yeah, it'll be just like Obsession. I'll start talking about it. I try to be very careful to only say what I've heard Curry say,
Mm,
uh, because I don't want to accidentally leak or say something.
right.
So I'm just very careful about that. Plus, I signed an NDA, as everybody does in the business. But
Yeah.
more importantly, I want to respect the project and have it roll out the way it's supposed to roll out. But I can say, seeing Bryce Dallas Howard and Violet McGraw and Aaron Paul and how they responded to Curry, they're all like super pros in the business. And Curry was just, so sort of like blown away that he was directing these like experienced actors. I mean, and even Bryce Dallas Howard's a very experienced director and has been in
Yeah.
the since she was
I mean, she also did Star
a
Wars,
baby.
so yeah.
Yeah, right. So, but they really responded to Curry. They wanted to be in the project because they believed in him and they wanted to be there to serve his vision, but also bring a unique perspective to these characters. And Curry stepped up to the plate, and he directed them and he coached them and he did what he was supposed to do despite being a young, an unproven director. So it really made for some magic. And like I said, I can't wait for people to see it.
Yeah, I mean, like, and I just like love that Curry like is developing like this like strong like community like of people like they gets like to work on films with like has like that strong like relationship like, and I think it's really going to show in the final product. I mean, it's and again, I'm just like looking forward to seeing it how it turns out.
And I think what helps Curry too is that Cooper's always around, and and also his brother, and then me when I can be there. So it's sort of like, okay, this feels this feels normal. Like it's like not, maybe not normal, but this feels like I've been here before. I can get into what I need to be doing. He talks a lot about on Obsession on the first day, being blown away, seeing all the trucks and the lights and the grips, putting everything up, and it's like, wow, everything here is happening for this movie. But then when he saw Cooper and when he, went through the first yelled action for the first time, he realized this is what I've been doing for, since I was 7 years old. So it's
Right.
really this is the same thing, but on a bigger scale. And he was able to get into it and be comfortable doing it.
Right. Right. And now, we talked about this before. I mean, I've seen like a lot of people online inspired by Obsession, like in the turnout, like that they're really like it's really driven them like to finish like in making their own films. I mean, based on your experience in the industry, like what advice do you have for aspiring filmmakers trying like to write and share their own stories?
Yeah, well, it is difficult to break in the traditional way.
Mm.
It's still a path. It's still a
Yeah.
clear path, and so I would say continue to pursue that path as far as like writing your scripts, putting them into the reputable screenplay competitions, trying to meet people in the industry, form relationships like that. That old tried and true path still exists. But now there's also a second path, which is, you have this distribution platform with YouTube and others where you can put anything up there and just let it exist in the world and see what happens. And Curry's best advice is always make a shitty film. If you want to be a filmmaker, go make a shitty film and then make another shitty film. But because if you're always waiting to have the perfect script and the perfect movie and the perfect set of actors, you'll be paralyzed. You'll never do anything. You'll always be a I should have person. So just do it, and people who say Curry is an overnight success, they don't realize he's been at this for a long time. And especially with Curry and Cooper's sketches on That's a Bad Idea. I mean, they have hundreds and hundreds of those, and each one of those is not something where they just held up the camera and did something silly. These were written, produced, directed sketches. So, so literally he's done hundreds and hundreds of mini short films. And there's things on there in the beginning that I know he's embarrassed about and that, he would want to take down, but he doesn't because he leaves it up to show people where he's started, where he's at now, where you can start, where you can be. And so it's really cool that all that stuff exists.
Yeah, I mean, like you've seen like all this new generation of filmmakers coming from YouTube. I mean, like we've got a Markiplier with Iron Lung, Rakataka with Talk to Me, and more recently we got Kane Parsons with Backrooms. I mean, like which I
Uh,
also got like an early screening of. Like it's
oh,
fantastic. So
cool.
I mean, like I
Good.
also encourage people to go out and see it. I mean, I think it's going
I'm
to be
actually going there right after this conversation. I'm going. Now, I'm going to wear
awesome.
my
Like I really hope you
shirt,
like
but
it.
I'm going because I definitely support Kane, and it's not a contest. They can have my $12 at the box office. I want everybody to rise up together, and I can't wait to see Kane just like kill it. I'm sure it's going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, like, and I think it's just going to be like really huge.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
need to coin some sort of phrase, like there was the Barbieheimer thing, we need to double feature the obsession backrooms somehow.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was thinking of that as well. I mean, like, one name that came to mind was Back Session, but that just doesn't sound right.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll figure something out.
Or obsessed rooms. I don't know. Somebody smarter than me can figure that one out. But it's
Yeah,
I did see someone who was like the double feature for sickos. Both the posters up.
yeah,
So no, I'm excited to see it. I was going to go see Passengers, but at that time it was just too much going on. But I'm still going to catch it. I try to see as much horror as possible. That's what I write, psychological horror,
yeah.
and
You and me both.
consumer. Yeah, and I'm a consumer. It's like I don't just do it from a craft standpoint. I like to sit back and tell me a story and let me feel something. And that's why I love horror because it's the genre that can most easily do that. So it's a good horror is in good hands. It's a good time to be a horror fan.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. Uh, all right. Or as we wind down, I was one like to hear what is your favorite scene from Obsession?
Hmm. Uh, well, the ending, is probably the most memorable scene, but I love the party scene, just because the tension is ratcheted up so much by that point, and you have this room where some music are playing, and there's some friends in there, and there's a game, and so it kind of lets you let your guard down a little bit, even though Nikki's there and you know something weird's going to happen. And then it just goes off the rails. I mean, at this point, the entity of Freaky Nikki is like doesn't care. Like she's willing to do whatever um, to make people feel uncomfortable, but it's all in service of her love for Bear. She's going to do whatever it takes to get love from Bear, show love to Bear. And the Hansel and Gretel scene, which monologue, which I wrote there. So
Yeah, that was like one of my favorite moments from the film. It's like so like deep and so unsettling. I'm actually gonna write about that later on. I mean,
oh, okay, cool. I'm glad that that resonated with you.
yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was, Curry approached me with that. That was the first thing he asked me to help on. And this was while he was writing the first draft. So this was way, way back. And his thought was that the entity would write this, and he wanted it to have a different voice on the page than his writing voice. And he knew that, I was successful with short stories. So it was sort of like a perfect idea for me to write it. And I don't remember because it's been a long time ago, and I've been trying to remember the series of events, and I can't remember if he recommended Hansel and Gretel or if I came up with that. I don't know, but what I was going for was that the entity was pulling out of Nikki's subconscious, and whatever was going to come out was going to show, so sort of like a fragmented dream, like how you have a dream and there's a cheesecake in a dream and it doesn't make any sense. And then as you're waking up and you're thinking about it, you remember that there was cheesecake in the break room at lunch or something the day before. It's like, oh, that's weird. But your brain just reached into the subconscious and pulls these fragments. And so to me, this whatever the entity would have written would have been fragments pulled from Nikki's subconscious. So it makes for a perfect story in the fact that you have these two adolescent siblings who are in a taboo relationship, which is wrong, and everybody knows it's wrong. And they're trapped in this room where Nikki is feeling trapped. And then also, perhaps because his brother and sister, that's how she saw Bear as a brother.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so just pulling from all these things, come up with this deeply bizarre and horrifying story. And Curry and I knew that we just wanted that to be like so uncomfortable. You know, if you can make a story Uncanny Valley, that's what we were going for. So
Yeah, I mean, like, like I just like love like how like they did the whole Uncanny Valley like with her fast movements throughout the show. Just like like
yeah.
it was like something out of The Exorcist, but like it was like a really like a small budget, but it was like it was really effective. I mean, like I still like see people just like still freaking out over on social media. It's just
Yeah, for Kirk
it's
and
incredible.
EP Taylor Clemens, that was really important to them to have the Uncanny Valley and you know and it's there constantly. It's consistent throughout the film, just even with the framing and where people are in position. You know, they did a lot of where the head is centered like down here instead of well, my camera moved, but you know, like down here instead of where you would traditionally have the two-thirds, so that you have all this extra space that just like your brain is sort of registering as like that just doesn't look right, but you're not really sure why. And then also people how people are off frame, you know, like even in the party scene when you know when Nikki hears that he's supposed to kiss Sarah on his left and she stands up, you know, she's in the foreground corner. She's not like a third, she's like barely in it, which
Yeah.
is most people wouldn't have made that choice. But this choice was made on purpose. And then she goes all the way around and to pull the chair out from Sarah, although you don't know what she's going to do. She's going to stab her, bite her, you know.
Yeah, like I thought like I mean I heard there was like some head bashing like in the film like and I
That
thought
was
like oh man like is that is it,
yeah,
she's that I mean
yeah,
but like it really kept me like on the edge of my seat and it's like it all just like turned out like so well and so terrifying.
yeah. Well, that's the dread and the tension that they're building. And but you know, just even the way she pulled the chair out and you don't see Nikki's face, you don't see her head. That's also
Yeah.
like once the chair is out of the way, and it's sort of a comedic moment, it's still like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And she lowers down to her knees and she comes into frame and puckers for the kiss. And one of my favorite parts of the whole movie, which a lot of people I haven't seen talk about, but is when he does kiss her there. And for him, he's just like going through the motions, like, okay, and he gives her a kiss. For her, she makes this face. It's like, oh, like
Yeah.
it's just ecstasy. Like she is so, you see there that the freaky Nikki is like so in love with him. Like she, like he got his wish. You know, you could really see it in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Got about a couple minutes left. Is there anything else you want to say to everyone?
Um, No, I mean, I think we covered it. You know, I think that, you know, word of mouth has been unbelievable for this film. I really thought that part of Hollywood had died and gone away, and it certainly hasn't, you know, because Focus did a tremendous job of promoting this movie.
Oh
It
yeah,
really
it's incredible.
and that was the result of that was to take this low budget indie film and make it what it was for the first week at the box office, which was phenomenal. I think it did 36, 38 million in the first week. But since then, it's all been word of mouth. It's just like it keeps going up and up and up, and it's because people are going to see it, and then they go back and they tell their friends or their coworkers, or like, "You got to go see it," and they're so excited they want to take them, and they go back and take people with them, and then then those people go grab people and take them, and it's like Hollywood in the 70s and in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like it's a renaissance, like, and it just shows like how powerful like audiences have on the industry. Like, and I'm so glad like it turned in to the film's favor. So
Yeah,
it's
well,
like really
I hope
looking.
this third weekend for us is good, and I hope Backrooms has a good weekend, and both of them just kill it.
Yes, same here. All right, Jeff, thanks again for sharing all this with me. It's again, it was such a pleasure to meet you. I'll keep you posted on this video. I look forward to hearing from you again.
All right, it was a pleasure. Thanks.